it got to be like 4 to 5 before I think before I start thinking like, oh, she just
4 to 5. Like if it's 4 rappers though.
4 rappers?
That's what I'm saying.
No, it's a rap.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's a rap.
So
if it's just verified, different. If it's for more than 3, I would say 3 verified rappers.
Or ball
2
players.
2.
Yeah,
2 rappers. Like we slimy.
Nah, y'all are, but you
know what I'm
decided
saying?
to wipe that slime.
Yeah, but
so you know what I'm saying. You gotta hold her accountable for the shit she did before you. She should have knew she was gonna meet you.
But just okay,
she's supposed to be a psychic,
right? So
see the future.
What's going on, guys? I'm Jaye the Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I want to talk about OT Genasis. He's a rapper, and he's known for the song Coco. You know, and apparently he did recently an interview on Instagram, right? Or discussion. And he talked about how he does not want to date females who's been with more than 2 rappers. He doesn't want to be with them. He didn't say that he didn't want to be with a female that has been with more than 2 guys. He's saying that he doesn't want a industry pass around. And that caused some people to get in their feelings and emotions, okay? Now, he is entitled to not have to date whomever he doesn't want to date. Now, again, I will say this because some people are going to bring it up. He does have a kid with Malika, who is a friend of the Kardashians, okay? She's one of their few black female friends. So, I don't know how many rappers she's been with, but I know he's dated her off and on. I don't think they're together right now. But he's talking about in general, he does not want to deal with an industry pass around. And I'm looking at some comments on the particular video, and I'm seeing how there were those who were getting in their feelings about it. And they're not even a part of the industry. They haven't been with one rapper, maybe a struggle rapper, but they haven't been with any well-known rapper. Okay. Now, I believe he wants to avoid the gold diggers. He wants to avoid the women that are coming after him for his fame and for his money, because we've all seen it. How many videos have I made on rappers getting involved with women who are just with them because of what they have, who are just with them because they're famous, who are just with them because they have a following and they can siphon from it. One of the perfect examples of a woman trying to come up off of you is the situation Lamar Odom. Now he's an athlete, he's not a rapper, because I believe OT Genasis says no rappers are athletes either. But he's clearly with the woman who's using him to put herself in a better position, either as an influencer or to get on reality TV. All right. And people know that's what that is. But the only person that doesn't see it that way is Lamar. So I can understand where OT is coming from that standpoint. You don't want to deal with somebody who's just there just so they can, post a bunch of photos of you on their social media, or they can be all over your social media. It's better to date women who are more low key. I will say that. Dating a low key female is the better option. Not these these rapper chasers or these athlete chasers who are all over social media trying to get a baby by one of those guys. And the thing is this, you already know who those women are. People say Instagram models are, yeah, but you have your well-known ones, your Amber Rose, your Black China's, women who are clearly trying to come up off of what you have built as a man, right? So you know what type of women to not deal with, okay? And also, I would say this too. I've had people tell me that these guys wife up. They marry these same Instagram models, these same industry pass-arounds. Yeah, there are some instances where you will have pro athletes, where you will have rappers who will go and they will wife up chicks who've been with everybody. Case in point, Chris Bosh. Lil Wayne got into a situation with Chris Bosh, where he put out there that he smashed Chris Bosh's wife. Might have been before that, they got him and her got serious. But the fact that he put that out there so casually just shows that a lot of these women, not a lot, but there are women who are able to slide through the cracks. And they go from being one of these groupies who are at hotels, who are at clubs, that are at, house parties, at events. These women who are veterans and getting in these circles, getting around these athletes, right? That there are some of them that are able to get a ring, but for the most part, these guys end up marrying women who are outside of the industry. They are not interested in being an influencer. They're not interested in modeling Fashion Nova. They're not interested in trying to grow a platform. They're not interested in getting OnlyFans, okay? They're not interested in being famous. They just so happen to be with somebody that's well known. And that's the type of female he's looking for. Now, he did get with Malika, the friend of the Kardashians. So, is what it is. But has she been an industry pass around? Or maybe he's referring to the women he deals with now. Maybe he feel like he's learned his lesson and he doesn't want to go down that road. Because again, we as men are entitled to have preferences. We are entitled to change. Just like women are entitled to change, a lot of men can say, you know what, I've dealt with these type of women. I don't want to deal with them anymore. But I noticed that there were people getting upset because he had the nerve to have preferences. He had the nerve to have a standard. Even though there's a lot of women out there, now they're not going to say it as vocally, but they have preferences too. There are certain men that they will not deal with, but they're not going to say it loudly because they enjoy getting attention from different men of different backgrounds. They don't want to just, put it out there that they're only interested in one type of guy or this type of guy, this height, this look, this build. They're not going to do that because they know that for the most part, we as men, we get it. If we're not what you're looking for, we move on. We're not checking for you anymore. That is why that is the difference between us and women. A lot of women don't put it out there what they really like. And when they get approached by guys, then they act a certain way because, well, you should have made it more plainly clear, especially on social media. If you're getting approached on social media, you say, hey, this is what I'm interested in. If that guy approaches you anyway on social media, it's different. But I feel like women can have preferences, right? They can have preferences in what they want, even though they're not vocal about it. But we as men, when we're more vocal about the fact that we don't want an industry pass around, we as men get criticized. These rappers get criticized. OT is getting criticized. It's like, how dare you reject wanting to date one of these aspiring IG model, OnlyFans models? Because you have a lot of these women that are aspiring to be, a big deal on social media. And they know the only way they can do that is by getting with a rapper, or they can get their entire life funded by an athlete. Look at Paul George's situation. He plays for the Los Angeles Clippers, right? He got into a situationship with the scripper. She got pregnant by him. He, at that point, really didn't want anything to do with her. He didn't want to be the dad. He ended up being the dad. He just didn't want to deal with that situation, right? He wanted her to get the pregnancy terminated, but she kept it, paying her off, but that wasn't enough because she saw the bigger picture. And what ended up happening is that Paul George eventually just got into a relationship with her. He didn't marry her. He's never going to marry her. But he sees, it's better financially, and it's better because I get to have my kids close and she'll be close to me. So he just gave into the situation, but he ain't gonna put no ring on her finger. That's a fact. So I think that a lot of people look at who these guys date, who these guys may, end up procreating with and say, you know what, that's what he wants. And you got women that will emulate those women in order to get into those situations. What you don't understand is those guys are not going to marry those women. They're just having a good time with those women. But those guys have options. They have a lot of options, and they're going to play the field. But I guarantee you the women that they actually marry are going to be a lot different than the women that they end up smashing. Another point, look at J.R. Smith, right? Look at the women that J.R. Smith was involved in publicly, and then look at his wife. His wife is the complete opposite of the women that he has been dealing with outside of that situation. So I want people to understand, man, these guys know what a wife is. They know who they want with them raising their kids. You got some instances where they will date these Instagram models, scrippers, OnlyFans models. But at the end of the day, as far as marriage, they do not consider those women marriage material. They don't. They will choose a regular female over those women as far as relationship is concerned any day of the week. The one thing that a man with money and resources do not want is a woman who's with him because of what he has. Now I know it's difficult because you're going to say, well, most women, if not all of them, want a guy that's rich. Is that woman bringing qualities to the relationship that can benefit that man? If she is not, if the only thing she's bringing to that relationship is her looks or her body, then that it's not going to last long. You have to be in a relationship, especially if you have a lot to lose, with somebody who clearly wants to help you succeed and be as great as you can be, who wants the family aspect, who wants to be married, who wants the family. There are women who will say that, but then they're not bringing anything to the table. They have no qualities whatsoever. They can't even cook. They can't cook. They don't want to clean. And you find that out the hard way. You realize that you wifed up somebody who really does not have the qualities that you will want in a wife. And you feel like you're stuck. I believe Paul George is stuck. That's why he stayed with the scripper, because he realized he was stuck in that situation. But again, that was his decision. Now we know that women file the majority of divorces. So even if you may marry them at some point, she's going to end that situation. That's why I'm not the biggest proponent of marriage. I'm just not. Okay? I'm just not. So I want people to understand that what OT is saying, he's not trying to be disrespectful to women. He's not out here shaming them. He's basically saying, listen, if you're out here chasing rappers, or athletes, what use are you going to be in a relationship? I think that's a question that we should ask. I don't think it should be out of the realm of not wanting to ask. I think that's a good question to ask, because you want somebody to be with you for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons.